Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Wednesday. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone, as well as TikTok at Big Red Zone. Today, it was a dismal weekend in Boston sports in general. We're going to break down the Patriots game, the Red Sox collapse against the Yankees, and so much more. This is the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by Danny Football. And welcome back, Jared Haibon, to the show.
Oh, hello.
How are we doing?
Boys.
Jared, how are we doing?
Miserable Monday. That's what this is.
This is a very bad Monday. As bad as I can remember Mondays in the history of Mondays.
This is the darkest day in Boston sports history. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's it brings back memories to, I think the last Monday that's been this bad was after the Eagles Super Bowl. Even then, I don't know if it was even that bad. It was.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's all we can say after that miserable Sunday.
I don't know if it gets much worse than the summer when the Bruins lost the cup and then Aaron Hernandez was arrested maybe 2 weeks later, and then I think the Celtics had a disappointing season too. So that was a low one for me.
That was a low Monday for you.
I think it was Celtics got swept by the Cavs, Aaron Hernandez arrested, Bruins losing the cup. That was a pretty good weekend.
That was a terrible. That sounds really bad. This is not a fun time.
Well, sorry, I was distracted. I was texting. My wife was talking in the other room, and I was telling her. I think can you guys hear her?
No.
Oh, okay, perfect. I could hear her, so it was distracting. Anyway, yeah. Do you guys just want to jump right into it? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's jump in. Let's start with the Bucks Rams. Let's get a little positive here. We'll say positivity sandwiches is what I like to call it. We'll start with some positive stuff, then get to the negative stuff, and then we'll end with some positive. Bucks Rams. It was one of our picks of the week. Danny Football made a deal with me last week. If the Rams came in and Matt Stafford shoved, he would join the train for the MVP, Matt Stafford. And
he looked every bit of it.
And I'm proud to say Danny Football is on the train right next to me.
Matt Stafford. All he needed was a change of scenery. It was crazy.
He looked amazing in that game. I'm pulling up the stat line here, but the funny thing is Tom Brady didn't even look that bad either.
Brady looked good.
It was just Matt Stafford in the offense looked better.
Tampa's defense just looked like an ass. The secondary looked horrendous. And no pressure. There was no pressure. What happened in Ndamukong Suh? I know Jason Pierre-Paul was out, but like what happened to Sue or any of the linebackers, whether it be Shaq Barrett, who's kind of like a DN, but also what's the Levante David? And who's the other guy? The young guy that's awesome. White. Devin White.
Devin Whitehead?
No, I think it's just White. I think it's Devin White, right?
Devin
Anyway,
White.
those guys are awesome. Where the hell were they?
I don't know what the Ndamukong Suh. I'm looking at his stat line, did nothing. He basically was there the whole, just had a field pass for the game.
Maybe they had the Super Bowl hangover. Maybe they're all,
They were pretty soft in week 1 too. Dak freaking bullied them.
Yeah, Dak sucked. I mean, no, Dak didn't suck. Dak was awesome. The defense sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when we were talking about it earlier, when after that first game, we talked about it. Like their defense last year was why I didn't believe that they were going to win a Super Bowl at the beginning of the season because they looked bad. The offense I knew was going to be fine. When you have Tom Brady at offense, I mean, you're going to be at least in the conference championship no matter what. It's the defense that I thought looked terrible. And again, I don't know if it's the Super Bowl hangover. I don't know if it's injuries, but they look bad. I just found it. Matt Stafford had 343 yards and 4 TDs, no picks.
That's a pretty good way to get to the MVP.
He had everything he wanted out there. In the beginning, you could tell he was kind of like a little amped up for that game. I think you could tell 2-0 teams, a primetime game. He looked a little nervous his first 2 sets, but he settled in And boy, was he good. I love Matt Stafford. It made me feel so much better about that. Tom Brady's going to, the Bucs will probably have more success long-term in this season, but the Rams, I think you got to start looking at as a legitimate threat in this conference and potential playoff. And, if they can all stay healthy, they could go pretty far in the season.
For the most part, it's the same team that was in that Super Bowl against the Pats. So they've been there before. It's just a matter of putting it all together in the regular season.
Yeah, and they got the players on D. They got Aaron Donald. They got Jalen Ramsey. They're a really good defense. They have a really good offense. Matt Stafford's a really good quarterback, and now he's surrounded by incredible talent. They got a good coach in McVay. Yeah, they're a good operation. They're going to be right there in the end. I mean, I figured it was a little bit – I don't want to say it was a trap game for the Bucs because it certainly wasn't, but I do think the Buccaneers might have been certainly not looking ahead to the Pats, but maybe we're not as emotionally ready to go as they should have been because – listen, it's going to be an emotional game for both the Patriots and the Buccaneers this week because Tampa loves themselves some Brady. That entire team only talks about Tom Brady as if he is God walking on water. And so that they want to blow out the Patriots 65-0 this week. So I'm curious if they went into the Rams game a little lackadaisical, a little bit not as well prepared as they should have.
Maybe we can use that as an excuse for the Pats. Maybe they were looking forward to next week too.
I don't think that was the case. I think you're right. I think you're right. They could have looked a little past this game, but I think it's hard to look past. I think looking at this game, I mean, they have to see it's a Sunday Night Football. They're both undefeated. It's Tom's. Actually, we talked about last week. Tom's first game in LA. I just.
Oh no, they shouldn't have. Like the Rams are a good team. That's why they spanked them.
Yeah.
And it was at home, and especially as Brady knows, and as we know, being Patriot fans, you're defending Super Bowl champion. You have the red target on your back every single week because you can get every single team's best because you're the defending champion and they're going to measure themselves against you. So especially for the Rams, they do huge free agent signings, including Matt Stafford trade in the offseason. They're really ready to win now. And so they wanted to measure themselves up with the defending champs and they blew them out of the water.
I think this may either this team with the Bucs or the next game we're going to talk about with the 49ers. I think this loss for them, especially the way the defense played, kind of may force their hand in signing a guy that's still out there like Richard Sherman. I think you're going to see one of these two teams go out there and get him because the defense is what's keeping these two teams. I think even though you can say Jimmy G, the 49ers are definitely not even on the same wavelength as the Bucs, but they both have that problem where the secondary needs help. And I think there's a chance that they could go out and sign, especially the Bucs who want they just seem to sign all these veteran guys. I wouldn't be shocked if they go out and try to get a guy like Richard Sherman that's still out there to try to be another veteran guy on the defense, kind of help tighten it up a little bit. And who knows? I think the Bucs are going to be fine. They're obviously going to be fine. They're Tom Brady. They're going to win a ton of games this season. But it was definitely, this could be a potential NFC championship matchup. This definitely is like a potential matchup we could see going forward in the end of the season.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I think we move on to the next game, Packers 49ers, the Monday Night Football. And this was my game, and I was close to being correct. And Jimmy just couldn't get it done for me. Actually, the defense couldn't get it done. But Packers beat the 49ers in dramatic fashion, kicking a game-winning field goal at the end of the game. They gave Aaron Rodgers 37 seconds to drive down the field. Too much time on the field. The very last play to Devontae Adams, they played so soft covered defense. They were just letting him catch it, which I get. You want to let him catch it, try to run out the clock. But, I mean, when there's 20 seconds, that's enough time to run up to the line and spike it. I think they should have. I don't know why they didn't contain it even more. Like they just let him get to the 30, 40 and catch the ball. I don't get that defensive set. I don't know if it's out of design or what, if it was a mistake that they made. It was just a terrible defensive play. I felt bad for Jimmy because Jimmy did what he had to do to get him down. He was pretty good on that last possession. And now the talk is going to be, they're 2-1, so I don't think it's going to start now. But people are already starting to talk. And like I heard in the beginning of that game all over Twitter and stuff and sportscasters, when are we going to start looking benching Jimmy Garoppolo?
I honestly thought he lost his job when Trey Lance came in for that last-minute touchdown. I thought that was it.
Totally.
But I think that's what they're going to use Trey Lance for when they're in the first and goal, on goal on the 3. I think they're going to just use him because he's quick. And it's going to get predictable because he's probably just going to try to run it out wide. But I think that's what they're going to try to use him for. I think it's close with Jimmy. Like if they're going to start benching him for him, because I mean, if they lose another game and they're 500, they're going to be like, all right, let's go to the young guy. But
I know I did feel bad. I did feel bad for Jimmy in that moment right before halftime, though, because they gave him 3 cracks to score a touchdown. And then I thought when they were taking the offense off the field, oh, well, they're putting the field goal unit in. They're going to take points on the board. And then Trey Lance was running on the field. I was like, holy shit, they're going to go for it on 4th down with only 2 seconds left. So the game, it was over. And then, of course, Trey Lance ran it in. And it was like, whew.
That's how I took it, is Shanahan saying, fuck this, you go and try. And then he did it.
Oh, totally. I thought the exact same thing.
I thought
this
he was
sun is harsh, boys. I'll tell you. I'm getting tan right now.
You need some sunglasses over there. You look like you're about to burn
sun block. And this is the last warm day in New England, though, boys. It's supposed to be 60s for the rest of the week, which I cannot freaking wait. Football weather. Anyway, sidetracked.
60 degrees. That sounds really good. Is it supposed to rain tomorrow? I'm supposed to golf tomorrow.
It is supposed to rain tomorrow.
Gosh,
a little showers here and there. You'll be all right.
There's an old saying. There's no such thing as a bad golf day. But yeah, I mean, the defense, like I said, that was really bad. That was a tough loss for them. But I think that they can be right in there, the 49ers, that is, be right in there at the end. They do have some things they got to figure out. They do need to kind of figure out that quarterback situation. But I think they looked pretty good. And the other thing I got out of it, everyone that said Rodgers is kind of packing it in for the season, he's not. He's invested. He's invested. He's ready to go. And I think that's what he wants to do. I think
I feel like Aaron Rodgers just only operates on spite.
Yeah, he does.
Like the first week, he sucked. He the entire offseason was about how he didn't want to play for Green Bay, and of course, the first week he sucked. It was almost as if he was sticking it to ownership. And then he comes out after everybody says, "Oh, well, he quit. Aaron Rodgers is done." Now he wants to stick it to everybody who said that he was done, and now he's playing out of his mind. So I'm convinced this man just works solely on spite.
I was gonna say he needs the underdog role, and then he just excels.
That's true. He does. He does try to put himself at with the chip on his shoulder that he.
Oh, well, that's what happened last year. They took Jordan Love, and he went out and got an MVP.
Mm-hmm. The other thing was I said pump the brakes on the Aaron Rodgers thing on the first week. He didn't play one preseason game, I don't think. So that was his first live action in over a season. So I was like, give him a break. Week 1, we'll see what it is week 2. And obviously the last 2 weeks he's been unbelievable. I have a question. Is there a better QB wide receiver duo than Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams?
Do you count Mahomes and Kelsey?
Yes.
I guess you have to. Yeah.
I might go with them.
You may go with them.
It's close. They're right up there. It's Rodgers, Adams. It's Mahomes, Kelsey. You can't really put Brady up there because, he dishes out to Godwin, Evans, and Brown. I mean, him and Gronk, obviously, the first 2 games, they're arguably right up there.
Maybe Josh Allen and
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, maybe, or Kyler Murray and D-Hop. I don't know.
You got to put once N'Keal Harry's back, it's gonna be Mac Jones. Right, obviously.
Well, it's N'Keal. It's fucking Kendrick Bourne and Mac Jones right now.
Yeah,
Kendrick looked good yesterday. I was happy with him.
This was a breakout game for him. That was one positive of this game. The reason, before we break into the Pats, that's a good segue. But the reason I said that, I heard this on the broadcast, which was interesting. They asked Devontae Adams, because obviously Rodgers wants to leave and he's gone next year. They said, "Do you want to play with Aaron Rodgers next year? And if so, would you leave the team to play with him?" And he said, "I want to play with Aaron and I want to play on the Packers." But that's an interesting thing. That I'm sure will be a storyline of the offseason. And I know it's way far away from now. But will Devontae Adams follow Aaron Rodgers? And that would be a crazy, whoever signs Aaron Rodgers. And if they can get Devontae Adams, that would be an unbelievable pickup.
Like Gronk and Brady 2.0.
It would be. Getting into the Patriots, terrible loss.
Loss sucked.
It was absolutely gut punch.
It was atrocious.
It was just a terrible. I try to look for positive things, but it was not positive at all. The O-line is awful. They need some serious help. I didn't realize Trent Brown. I feel like a broken record. I didn't realize Trent Brown was that influential to this offensive line.
I don't think he is.
They have good play, like Andrews.
Do they? I don't know. From what I'm watching, I think the whole line sucks.
They do, but like on paper, they should have.
On paper, they should be, but they're not performing like it. So.
Yeah. Whoever's the O-line coach should be fired immediately because they are absolutely terrible. I hate to say it because he's about 100 years old, but can we get Dante Scarnecchia back in the building
for at least call him and just ask for some advice?
Yeah, be a special advisor because this is like absolutely. It's we're not going to have Mac Jones for the long term. He's going to be hurt.
He's getting killed. This kid's getting killed, and like I go back to coaching. I mean, we're putting him in a position to get killed. What did he throw? 51 times or something like that yesterday? It's like, what are we doing, boys? Are we trying to be like the Jets and just put this guy in the worst possible situation? So that was frustrating. The right side of the offensive line is terrible, and we need Trent Brown back. And once Trent Brown is back, I think that will be better. But I feel like our offensive line problems are much more than just the right tackle. I mean, David Andrews hasn't been the same guy, and he was hurt all year last year, so maybe he needs a few games to get back into it. But Isaiah Wynn, I don't know what happened.
He's not the guy we thought he was.
No,
apparently not. And then oh my God, our tight ends. Holy,
that's a whole problem in itself. The tight ends that we spent how much money on?
Record-breaking money,
$80 million or something.
It was the most money we had spent on free agency in a long time, maybe ever.
And Jonnu Smith, that was scary yesterday. How bad he looked.
I think I could have played a little better in that position. I feel like I could have at least batted the ball down. I wouldn't have popped it up in the air for an easy pick, the easiest pick six I think that kid has had in his career.
And he had 4 drops, I think.
Yeah.
And then he's not a blocking tight end. That's all you use him for. So if you can't do that and he's costing you turnovers, what good is he? And then Hunter Henry had 5 catches yesterday for 36 yards. It's like, were any of those meaningful? No. I think I remember one over the middle. And it's like, is this, and even when I watch Hunter Henry, maybe I'm just mad at the entire situation, but he just doesn't look like anything. He looks like a better version of Matt Lacoste. And it's like, is this what we paid all this money for?
The fact that you said 5 catches, I was like, unbelievable, because I don't remember him catching. I remember catching him one ball up, maybe up the middle. I remember him catching 1 or 2 balls.
Yeah, I think it was like a third down first right. Down. It was like a good play. That was it.
I don't remember him doing anything else.
You know what I do remember him doing?
False start?
Yeah, on 4th and 1. Stupid son of a...
Yeah, I was going to say, all that got us was a pick 6, a false start, and a couple and 4 drops. That's what got 80 million got us last Sunday. It's just, and then it just keeps getting worse. I mean, the running game we were talking about last week, we used James White in the running game, and James White's now out for who knows how long. It
sucks. He's awesome. I love James White, and I just hope he comes back. And especially, he's the ultimate Patriot, clutch, tough, always there when you need him. And especially what happened with his parents last year. I mean, just tragic. I don't think there's a guy you can root for more than James White. And so seeing him go down yesterday just sucked. So I hope he comes back, and I hope just comes back healthy.
And looking at like the team as a whole, like before you could at least say, like after Brady left, you could at least say like, all right, this offense can lean on Jules. Like Jules is going to be the guy. I mean, until he got hurt, but like, he's the kind of the heart and soul. He's the guy that you can kind of be like, he's been here, he's been a hero for us. That's James White. There's no one else. Everyone's new.
We're very thin on the veteran side of things. So losing James White kind of hurts.
It hurts us really bad. And I mean, especially with a running game where Mac Jones was your leading rusher for your team yesterday. And part of that was because we were down most of the game. But at the same time, like Damian Harris, I don't know what happened. After that fumble week 1, it's like the confidence is shot.
He had that great run against the Jets last week. He had that like 35-yard touchdown run where he bowled over people. And then this week he was just disappeared. I think he had a good run the first play of the game, I think, where he went like 6 or 7 yards. And then that was it. And it's like, why is it? And everybody's talking about the play calling in the red zone, rightfully so, when they handed off to Brandon Bolden 2 times in a row. It's like, where the hell is Damian Harris?
Right.
Why are we handing off to Brandon Bolden?
Yeah. I don't understand why. Brandon Bowling got 3 carries yesterday for -1 yards, and Damian
Yeah.
Harris had 6 carries. That's it for the entire game. 6 carries for 14 yards. I don't understand why. And again, it could be that we were down for some of that game, but at the same time, you gotta. It
I
wasn't like
think
we were losing 30-6.
I think part of it was that we were down, and for some reason McDaniels went into a shootout mode and just had Mac Jones start tossing the ball all around. I part of it I put on McDaniels because this dude's play calling is atrocious so far.
I mean, that's been a problem for us. We've known for years, except we had a guy named Tom that could bail us out of bad play calls. He could just check out of it and do what he wanted.
I think
But
the scariest part of this entire thing is we're losing with decent quarterback play. If you would have
yeah,
told me we started 1-2, it would have been like, well, Mac Jones is obviously a rookie quarterback and he's having rookie struggles. No, we're losing it for other reasons. We're losing because I can't believe I'm going to say this. The Patriots look poorly coached. I mean, penalties, turnovers, block punts. Jake Bailey kicking yet another kickoff out of bounds. What the hell is going on?
yeah. I think that's a major cause for concern is the coaching has been atrocious. Like play calling has been bad. There's still like first game when they had so many penalties, you were like, all right, we'll clean it up. We haven't cleaned it up. We haven't been able to cut that down. And you're right. It's like things that shouldn't happen, like the kicking out of bounds. Like that's something that should never happen. There's so many false starts. It's like on 4th and 1, you false start. Like that's things that don't normally
Turnovers,
happen.
drop passes, fumbles. It's
Right.
like no, getting your rookie quarterback killed. It's like, and then even yesterday they have one offensive weapon. It's Kamara. You have to stop Kamara. You have to do whatever you need to do to stop Kamara. And then in the first quarter or whatever, their first touchdown,
First possession.
The first drive they did a good job, but then they kind of fell apart on him.
He walked into the end zone by himself.
Yeah.
And he had like a halfway decent day. And it's like, and then obviously the one of the biggest scary parts besides coaching and what they did with Kamara, specifically defensively. I mean, Mac Jones gets you back in the game, throws a touchdown back pass to Kendrick Bourne, 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and you give up an 8-minute touchdown drive when your defense is supposedly the best unit you have. That's not good. Not good at all for this season.
Well, that's what we were saying. Like looking at the 2 losses they have so far, week 1, you get the turnover, you get the pick. You go 3 and out immediately, but you're like, all right, we got 5, I think it was 5 or 6 minutes left against the Dolphins. I can't remember, but
you need to stop.
You needed to stop. And it was enough time where you're like, all right, they'll take 2 minutes off the clock, 3 minutes off the clock, and you still have a couple minutes, all timeouts, and be able to go. They couldn't stop. You have 9 minutes left yesterday, and you can't get a stop. You give up a touchdown.
Not just the touchdown, but like they ran it down your throats.
Yeah.
It was like the game was on the line. You need to stop. You just scored a touchdown. The crowd's back into it. And, it's feeling like, okay, is this going to be a comeback? Is this going to be Mac's first comeback? And to give up whatever it was, like an 8-minute touchdown drive where all they did was run the ball. It was like, wow, that's not like that. I don't even know what to say to that. I know it's defense, it's obviously on the defense, but
as
someone who has so much faith in Belichick, my faith in him is shaking. It's still there. I still have faith that he'll turn around and we'll get better throughout the season. But right now, it makes me nervous.
You not only like they run it down your throat. Who runs it down your throat? Taysom Hill. You let Taysom Hill run it down your throat. That's bad. First possession, I think the first series out of that last possession, like when they had the ball, they got it to 3rd and 7, I think. And all you had to do was get one stop, and then you let Jameis Winston pick you apart like with that absolute prayer. It's like that shouldn't happen. Those plays can't happen. Looking at it, I think they can still get to double-digit wins, but they got to figure out those little things. Like we thought they were going to lose to a lot of us had them losing this game. A lot of us, not me, but a lot of us had us losing to the Dolphins. Like someone thought we were going in losing to the Dolphins week 1. A lot of people.
Whoever thought we were going to lose to the Dolphins and the Saints does not have us at 10 wins, though. There's no way.
I forget what it was. They had us at 10. I forget what the how the breakdown was. I'd have to look at it, but I think it was 10.
I mean, it's going to be, it's just the schedule looks harder and harder as we go on because we play the Panthers before the season. I was like, oh, okay, that's, we should win that game. Now the Panthers 3-0. It's like, okay, that makes me nervous. And then obviously we played Buffalo twice. Josh Allen looked phenomenal yesterday. That scares me. And then we have to go into Miami the week 17 or week 18. And it's like, oh, that's scary. And then the Cowboys game, I feel like is going to be much more difficult than we thought. The Browns look good. It's like, oh God, are we going to be another sub 500 team after spending $180 million in the offseason or whatever the hell it was? A year after going 7-9 and Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, this is how we answer? What are we doing?
Speaking of Tom, he's definitely going to put us in a body bag next week. So
this is Bill Belichick's Super Bowl this year. This is it. You cannot start 1-2 the way they've looked, which is poorly coached. I'm sorry. They've looked poorly coached and then get spanked by Tom Brady on national TV. You cannot allow that to happen, Belichick. He needs to do whatever he needs to do to ensure that they are at least in the game. Even if they lose, that it's at least, a fourth quarter good game. They're right in it. And, whatever happens, Mac can't make the play because he's a rookie or Tom drives him down the field to win the game. But you cannot get waxed. But I'm nervous. I initially thought this game was going to be pretty close, but now that the Buccaneers lost, and it might be a little bit of a wake-up call for them, which means they're going to be extremely focused for this game, and they're going to want to win it for Tom. And Brady's going to be ready to go. It's like, oh, gee.
I was saying Tom's probably going to throw like 5 touchdowns. They may score 100 points in this game.
Jesus.
Well, Bruce Arians is going to let him air it out.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Arians is going to let Tom have the opportunity to throw 10 touchdowns. Now, maybe Tom throws a couple of picks. I don't know, but I don't know. Also, there's a part of me that's rooting for Tom because I can't root against this guy. My heart is just, I love this man. I'm so conflicted. Did you guys see the NBC promo to Adele?
Yeah. For the game?
Yeah. It was like, hello.
Yeah.
I did not see that. No, I don't need that in my life.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is going to be stupid. But it's only 30 seconds, but by the end of it, I was like, I'm a little emotional after that.
It's going to be a tough day. You've been talking about it since the football draft, Jared. You're going to be
talking about this game ever since he left
year.
The Pats. It's like, I honestly haven't been this emotional for a game emotional towards football since he left the Patriots. Because now watching all the promos and especially, all the promos of Belichick facing Brady. And it's like, it just makes me so sad because it's like, this is not how it should be. Brady's our guy. He should be here. We should be continuing to be a Super Bowl contender with Tom Brady. And it's so frustrating that it had to end like this and they had to go their separate ways for whatever reasons. We can all speculate. Obviously, I'm sure we've read a ton of reporting on it, but it just because as you guys know, it's like for me, the Patriots over the past 20 years, it's going to sound stupid. They're kind of like family a little bit. The amount of times I've talked about them, invested time in them, between Brady, Belichick, and Kraft, talking about them like they're the Holy Trinity. It's they were a little bit of a family. Now the family's broken up, and now people are like, okay, you have to choose mom or dad. And it's like, I don't want to choose. I'd just rather be blindfolded and go on my merry way.
That's what Jules said when they said, who are you going to root for on Sunday when the Pats play the Bucs? He's like, his parents are divorced, and it's like mom's over here and dad's over here, and he's like, I can't decide. He did say he's going to root for the Patriots, though. When we're in Foxborough, I'm rooting for the Patriots, but he also will root for Tom. I think that's a difference that people don't understand. A lot of Pats fans don't understand. I'm a Patriots fan. I'll always root for the Patriots to win. Even Sunday, I'll root for the Patriots to win. I don't think it will happen, but I'll root for them to win. But I'm also rooting for Tom Brady. You can't root against this guy who brought you so much happiness and joy for 20 years. You think about that. He gave us so much happiness for 20 years. Not too many things do that. And he turned our franchise around. He was big for our city. And I don't know. I'll always root for Tom. It does kill me to see how much fun he's having.
100%, dude. I'm so emotionally invested in this human being because people just don't even realize. I know, I was talking to a buddy of mine and he's like, "Oh, dude, like I know how you feel with Brett Favre. Like I didn't root for Brett Favre when he left." And it's like, it's not the same. I wish I could describe to you, but it's just not the same. Like Favre was there for 15 years. Yeah, that was great. You guys went to 2 Super Bowls and it was both in the 90s. And then you guys went 13 years without one. It was time to move on. With Brady, it didn't feel like it was time to move on. We went to 9 Super Bowls. We won 6. Like the story of Brady, too, being a 6th-round draft pick, overcoming the odds. We become a dynasty. He becomes the face of the NFL. And then, it's like, oh, who's better, Tom or Peyton? And then, Tom gets Randy Moss and Wes Welker and breaks Peyton's record. And like, and then obviously Spygate. And then we didn't win since Spygate. So everybody thought it was just cheating. And then, of course, the Seattle Super Bowl and Deflategate. And so, like, the amount of times I've died on the Tom Brady hill being like, you guys are, Tom Brady is not, especially with Deflategate, people are like, oh, he's just a cheater. And it's like, no, he's not. He's the greatest quarterback to ever live. And then so we had to defend him through that. And then he wins, the 28-3 game and like all these crazy things. He gets suspended and he comes back and we want him to win the Super Bowl so badly so we could see that moment of Goodell handing him the Lombardi trophy for being the Super Bowl MVP. Like I've cried for this man, you know what I mean? And it's like,
I did cry at that Super Bowl.
Dude, and then he leaves and I'm supposed to be just like forget any of that happened and be like, okay, no, just Patriots all the time. Even though like I'm a little pissed off that they let him go and it ended the way it did. And it's like,
right.
It's a lot. It's a lot, guys.
It's going to be a rough Sunday for all of us. So moving on from the sadness of the Patriots, let's get into our next segment of the night, our picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
So for picks of the week, we pick one NFL game from this week's schedule. Let's see if we're right. Danny Football and I both got it wrong last week. Jared is now 1-0. He was almost 0-1, but he changed his pick. I think he changed his pick because he's like, I'm not going to go with the spread. No, he said he said if I was going with the spread, I would have picked this game, and they ended up losing. So he is 1-0. Danny Football, what's your pick of the week?
I'm going to go Rams over Cardinals in a 3-0 matchup. Cardinals-Rams.
Are you copying me right now?
Both undefeated. We're going to go Rams over Cards.
All right. I've had this written down for hours, and it's now I have to change it.
That's what you get for giving me the first pick.
I had it written down.
Yeah, that's it. Nope. You snooze, you lose.
The people don't know that.
Snooze, you lose. I didn't snooze. I was ahead of the game. I did this at 7:30 this morning. I inserted my pick. All right. Well, all right. Jared, you can go next. I'll go with last pick.
Okay, great. I'm going Chiefs over Eagles. There is no way in hell the Chiefs are starting 1-3.
That would be so embarrassing.
Philly. They're going to go into Philly and they're going to smoke them. I'm picking the Chiefs over the Eagles.
That'd be so embarrassing if they go into Philly and lose. I'm going Patriots over Bucks. No, I'm not doing that.
You should go Cards over Rams.
No, because I believe in the Rams. I've been on the Matt Stafford hype train all season, so I can't just go against him.
Do it for content purposes.
I'll do. How about I do Cards over Rams?
Well, if you don't believe in that, I don't want you just.
No, I guess I'm the Kyler Murray guy. I'll go with him.
Well, that's a good thing because I'm going Rams over Cardinals. That's the one I went with. That's the one I'm going with. Rams over Cardinals. I think Matt Stafford's legit. He's finally got weapons. Cooper Kupp looks like is just unbelievable. They're playing at home. They get to play at home, stay home all week. Cards will be a tough one, but I think Matt Stafford with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods in company, I think they're going to beat Tyler Higbee through whoever else you want in there. They're going to be nasty. Sean Jackson had an unbelievable game.
I know, right? God, talk about finding the fountain of youth.
Blast from the past to Sean Jackson. All right, so let's move on to waiver pickup of the week. So we'll pick someone who we think is a good waiver pickup. Let's go with Jared first. What do you got? Do you have a pick? Any fantasy football advice for the people out there someone to pick up?
Yeah. You know what? let's go with. I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go J.J. Taylor. I'm gonna go J.J. Taylor because the Bucs defense is gonna be coming after Mac Jones. He's gonna want to get rid of the ball quickly. James White is out. James White has been an impactful player on this offense. They need that pass catching running back. I'm not sure if Damian Harris is that guy. Obviously, Stevenson. I don't know what the hell happened to him. He's like I didn't even remember him seeing him on the field yesterday.
I don't think he was
He's
active.
He's been inactive all 3 weeks.
Yeah. No, he was active week 1 because he fumbled, and then after that he's been inactive
and couldn't block. So I think J.J. Taylor might get in there because he's just like he's that small guy that I feel like we always got, whether it be Danny Woodhead, Dion Lewis, James White. Like we need that guy. I think J.J. Taylor can have a little bit of a breakout game. He can we're gonna need to throw the ball against these linebackers to have any type of success. I could totally see J.J. Taylor having a decent game.
I like that. Also, the only time our offense has had success is check down short routes, dink and dunk. And J.J. Taylor is going to be I think he could be a big piece in that, especially with James White out. I like that pickup. I wasn't even thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, I know like prototypically people are like, oh, you got to attack the Bucs secondary, which I agree with, but you also have to, if you want to throw downfield, you have to have an offensive line that can hold their blocks. And right now, that's not the case for the Patriots.
That's 100% right. They need to go dink and dunk. We at least try to take the cover off the ball this game. It just didn't work out. Danny Football, what do you got?
I'm going to stick with the Patriots. I'm going to go Kendrick Bourne. It seems like he's starting to earn Mac Jones's trust. And if the offensive line is going to continue to suck, at least Mac can keep looking his way. So I'm going to go with Kendrick Bourne, owned in 0.4% of leagues. So he's out there. He's ready to go.
Man, should I go Patriots player? We're all going Patriots players. With
join the club, bro. It's fun.
I'm going Pat's defense.
There you go.
I'm going to go with now. I was stuck between two players. I'm going to ride the Matt Stafford train. I'm going Deshaun Jackson. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown. He's going to be the deep downfield threat for them, I think. They're using Bobby Trees and Cooper Kupp, like kind of the slot second. They're going to get a lot of the catches, but I feel like Matt Stafford likes to let it loose and throw the ball down the field. So he's only rostered in 1.8% of leagues. So it's worth throwing him on your bench and seeing what happens. See if he actually starts, because this was, I think, is either first or second game with them. So I think I like him. I like the fountain of youth, like you said, Jared. I think has found this guy. The other guy I was between was Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber may be worth taking a look see at. He seems to be the bell cow when Jacobs is out. How does anyone know how much percent? Because he's not available in any leagues I had. But Chuba, whatever his name is.
Chuba? Who's Chuba?
He's the backup for the Carolina Panthers. He's
owned 11.3.
That's a guy. I changed mine. Chuba, whatever that. Forget about Deshaun Jackson.
Pick him up.
Chuba. Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for like 3 weeks, so pick him up. He actually did pretty well when McCaffrey went down. So change mine if we have that already locked in.
Is it like, it makes me think, is it McCaffrey or is it the fact that Carolina has a good offensive line and run and a good game plan? I know it's probably both, but like last year McCaffrey was hurt. Mike Davis came in, did really well, earned himself a nice little contract with Atlanta. This year, McCaffrey goes down. Chuba, however you say it, goes in, does really well. It's like, all right, well, is it McCaffrey?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was actually thinking that, like, we've seen now 2 running backs come in, one of which is a rookie. I mean, we'll have to see how he is in his first start.
True.
But, I mean, if he comes in and does what he did in the second half of yesterday, which was decent.
Yeah, what the hell did you pay McCaffrey all that money for?
You got to start thinking, like, is it McCaffrey? I mean, I'm not saying McCaffrey stinks, but
is McCaffrey a system running back?
Is he a system running back? I don't know. I think he's still great, but
he is still very good.
It's got to make you wonder, man, because if Chuba comes out, Chuba, whatever his name is, someone let us know. If he comes out and gets, has an 80-yard day with a couple of touchdowns or even a touchdown, like, and has a bunch of catches, I don't know. I think he's your I think you just roll with him. Maybe try to trade McCaffrey and see what you can get for him. Taking a quick look at the Fantasy Football League. Another week in the league. I have defeated Jack just about. I just need Dak Prescott to not miss the bus today, and I will be fine. Danny Football with a big win over yours truly, Jared Haven, this week.
So it's
By,
bullshit.
Big
by
2-point
2
win.
points. A big 2-point win out of him.
Dude, Damian Harris got me 3 points. I should have started Bernard. I'm an idiot. Dude, Moss went off on the bench for me too. Fuck, Zach Moss. Damn, bro.
Yep.
I started the wrong guy. I had all my faith in Damian Harris, and then son of a bitch.
Rob Marcello, the secret dark horse of this league, is going to be 3-0, the only undefeated team in the Big Red Zone League, which is, to say shocking, would be an understatement. And Dave Griffin looks like he won this week by, this was the game of the week, I think. He won by, I can't do math. It's 110.54 to 110.28. I can't do that math. Someone let us know. James, it's a tough loss for you, buddy. And Andy, shout out to Andy. Looks like he's going to get his first win on the season against the champ, Andrew May. So like beside Rob, who's running away with it, it looks like a close match between everyone in the league. So that's competition is very high in the Big Red Zone Fantasy Football League. All right, let's move on to another disappointing topic, which is the Boston Red Sox. Positivity sandwich, like I say, Danny Football. We're going to start with the positive parts, where it looked like the week was off to a great start. We took care of business against the Mets. We won both of those. But then the Yankees came to town, last series of the season, and we get absolutely hosed by them.
Yellow jersey mania seems so far away now.
Yeah, I feel like the yellow jerseys.
I hated that. I'm not the only person that hated those yellow jerseys.
I love them, to be honest.
I love them because they won.
I like how they look, but do I think they should be the permanent jersey? No, but it was fun while it lasted, and then it came crashing down.
Oh God, it's just like, yeah, we are just not a very good team. Anytime we face a halfway decent team, we get crushed. I think there's a stat I heard today. We've faced the Yankees 6 times since the trading deadline. Guess what our record is?
0-6.
0-6.
We still have the season series though, because we beat them enough in the first half.
Thank God. It's
We just need to be tied.
It's bad. I mean, it couldn't. I cannot believe they got swept, and the way it went down too. I mean, Friday night you just get absolutely demolished, and then Saturday you have that.
Dude, I was outside of Fenway waiting for the House of Blues for the Jack Harlow concert, and I heard the Stanton Grand Slam, and it was tough to watch.
That thing, I don't think I've ever seen a ball hit so hard in my life.
That thing was demolished.
Like, I'm surprised the ball didn't explode.
Benny the Jet.
I wish I was further up in line. I probably went and got it, but I was too far back.
And then last night, holy shit, just another.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've seen a ball hit that hard and that far until the next night when he did the same exact thing, hit the ball the same spot
on it. And I know what makes me listen. Joe West, the umpire, blew the call. Like,
fuck Joe West. I'm glad he's retiring.
Vasquez had that ball in his glove. He caught it, and it was on the transfer. My question is, why the hell wasn't there more of an argument? Why didn't Core come out and or Vasquez really argue? It was like, oh, okay, that happened. And then I saw that because initially by Core's reaction, if you saw, because they showed him in the dugout. And then, he was like this, as if oh, we're not replaying it. But if you're the coach and the umpire blew the call, wouldn't you, I don't know, make a scene out of it? So, try to inject life, be like, they got the wrong call, they're screwing us. That didn't happen. And then judge, double or something, and then obviously stand. Oh God, pissed on him. And
all three of them really, Rizzo, it was a double, but he did the same thing. Judge did too, and I mean Stanton.
Yeah,
but you're right. I heard somewhere, and this could be wrong, but I heard that they might have not been able to review it. It was not a reviewable play, which I don't get. I don't know if that's correct, but even if it isn't reviewable, you're right. As the manager in a big game, you have a 1-run lead. You have one out with the go-ahead run on second base. Right? It was the go-ahead run. Yeah.
Either way.
Either way, I would go out, and if anything, even if I don't get ejected, I'm causing a scene to kind of get the guys fired
Why
up.
wasn't Vasquez more pissed off? Like, he was the guy who dropped the ball. He must he must have known that it was on the transfer. And it was just like, because when I saw their reactions, I was like, oh, well, he obviously just dropped it. And then I saw the replay and I'm like, no, that's on the transfer. Like, I was freaking out on the TV and I'm like, why are they not mad at this?
You're right. It was like they responded like, yeah, you're right. I dropped it, but it wasn't. It was clearly he was bringing the ball out and he just dropped it out of his hands. I don't get it. I really don't. And I don't get why you don't cause, as Alex Cora, I don't understand why you don't cause an absolute scene.
Well, he didn't know that it was going to turn into a disaster.
I mean, that's still like, if I'm managing a game in that situation,
you do kind of hope your team doesn't completely fall apart if that's the case, but it did happen. In retrospect, it sucks, but at the time, you can still strike them out.
And the other thing about it, the reason I would say that is because I just reading the momentum of the game. I knew as soon as they didn't do anything, he was going to get something. He was going to hit a single to knock in either the tying run. He was going to hit a double because Bobby Dahlback doesn't know how to catch a fly ball against the wall. I mean, a pop up against the wall. And he did it was just like one play after another. And you could feel the momentum slowly, the wind being sucked out of the whole stadium. And it was only a matter of time. Aaron Judge is, I think he's highly overrated, but he is a very good baseball player. At least, I think he is a good offensive baseball player. You can't give him 3 opportunities, 3 outs to get a hit. Like, that's just
totally.
So,
and that's what I was gonna say when Danny Football was talking about it. I totally agree with you. Like, hey, don't have your pitcher just piss down his leg and give up what he gave up. But at the same time, you're giving Aaron Judge more opportunities. It's like, you don't want to give that guy more opportunities. And then, of course, Stanton's on deck just, waiting for an opportunity. And it's like, oh, God, this is going to end badly. And, of course, it did.
Yeah. I'm playing manager here, and it's easy for me to say sit on the couch, but
that's what we do. We second guess the managers. That's our job.
I would have got at least caused a scene, if not got thrown out in that situation as a manager. And 2, after you give up the double, I walk Stanton. I'm not even pitching to him because I just, even though you get the lefty on lefty.
That is something that if I was a manager, I would do a lot more is if I feel that a guy's due, just walk him.
Because the other thing is you still have 1 out. So why not get the double play situation? Why not get, especially against a guy like Stanton?
Yeah, was first base open?
First base was open because Judge hit the double.
What the hell are we doing then? I didn't even think of that.
Like, that's my mind. Like,
that's an old school Barry Bonds move, and I do it 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 times.
1,000
times. Walk them, even if it costs you a run. Who gives a shit? It's better than a grand slam or a 2-run shot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what put it out of the. I think they might have, because they lost 6-3, so they had a 1-run lead after the double. The double brought in 2 runs, so there was 4-3. That's at least mentally, like, you can get a run. Like, they manufactured 3 runs in that game. It was all sack flies and moving people over. So you can manufacture 1 more run. You can't manufacture 3 runs.
The one thing you could not happen, the one thing you could not let happen in that situation was giving up a home run to Stan.
Yeah.
And you gave up a monster home run to Stan.
It was a moonshot. So that's what I said. Like, walk him. If the next guy hits a home run, all right, whatever. You played the odds. You played, like, it is what it is. They're gonna make hits, but I'm not gonna let Stan. It's like we said about Patriots, usually not letting one player beat you.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let this guy who just did the same thing 2 nights ago or a night ago do the same thing.
I was about to say my memo to the bullpen would have been, you walk him. Don't even bother.
Especially when you have first base open with 1 out. Like, you get a double play situation right there.
Totally. And then if Brett Gardner, beats you, tip your cap. But don't let
whatever.
Stanton beat you.
Right. So why not? That would be my two questions. Cora's made some questionable play calls, manager moves in this series, and that was two of them. Why not? Why not first argue that play? Like I feel like you have to in that situation. And two, why not walk Stanton? I don't
It's
get
not
why
do-
they
it-
pitched to
that's
Stanton.
that's not done enough. I don't know why it isn't, but it's not done enough. If you know a guy's gonna destroy you, I'd rather just give him the open base.
And I know, because Joey Gallo, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, Joey Gallo with the fly ball. That was funny.
I know, but he's the one who bats after Stanton. So it's like, I'd
Oh,
much
yeah.
rather Gallo with the bases loaded than Stanton with second and third, an opportunity to hit a 3-run bomb. And
You know what-
I heard the stat on 98.5 earlier. It was there's only 3 guys in the history of baseball or for the history of the Yankees that's ever hit 3 home runs and had 10 RBIs in a series against the Red Sox. And it was Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and Lou Gehrig. And now Stanton's up there. And it was
Murderer's row, literally murderer's row. Shit.
yeah, that's the type of series Stanton had. And he did, man. Damn. He was dominant. All 3 games throughout this entire weekend. Dominant.
Just so you know, Joey Gallo was 0 for 3 yesterday. So I think you would have had a good shot at getting a double play out of Joey Gallo.
That would have been.
Just don't let Stanton beat you. Don't we talk about with the Patriots. Don't let Kamara beat you. For the Red Sox, just don't let Stanton beat you. That's the one guy.
So now we're going into the final week of the season, and we're looking at, we're playing the Orioles 3 games. You have to sweep them.
Well, you're guaranteed to gain at least a game because the Yankees and Blue Jays play each other. So you're going to get a game back either way.
Yeah, it's the same grace.
I forget what the Yankees are. The Yankees have a tough schedule down the stretch.
They still have to play the Blue
Rays
Jays and the Rays.
So
yeah, they have a really tough schedule. And so, which is fine. Honestly, there still might be the opportunity for us to host the wild card game. I don't think that's out of, I think that's very plausible, honestly.
It's 1,000% possible because even if we tie, we have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, it just makes me it's so deflating. I don't feel good about it.
It is. You don't want to go into the wild card game against the Yankees having lost 6 of your last 6.
I know. So it's I guess we'll see what happens.
You have to, get there, host it, send Sale out there, and hope to God he can outduel Garrett Cole and win the game.
Yeah, agreed.
So we'll have to see. I mean, it's going to be a close battle down the stretch. We'll be talking more about this next week, talking about a wild card matchup because the season's over Sunday. So next Monday we'll be previewing the playoffs. It's crazy. It's already over.
Winter is coming.
Literally and figuratively.
What'd you say, Ash?
With the book coming out the day after?
Oh, you want us to talk about Wickersham?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good topic.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
It's the people's topic, baby! People's topic.
This topic is coming from Jared's wife, Ashley. What do we got?
She's a big fan of the podcast, guys. So she wants
my goodness gracious.
She wants us to talk about the upcoming Seth Wickersham book on the Patriots dynasty. Are you guys aware of this book?
I am not aware of this book.
You're not aware of this book?
I'm not a big reader, Jared. That's hard for me to read.
Oh, dude. So, Danny Football, are you aware of this book?
Yeah. I was aware that he was making it.
All right. So, you guys remember it was the report at the Eagles Super Bowl year. It was 2017 going into 18. Seth Wickersham worked for ESPN. He had the article pretty much saying that there was huge conflict within the conflicts of Foxborough between Brady and Belichick, and there was a power struggle. Do you remember that article?
I remember, what was this, 2013?
2017.
2017?
And
I remember there was an article coming out that was there was a big divide, over.
He was the guy that reported that pretty much Belichick, Kraft pretty much forced Belichick's hand to trade Jimmy G.
Right.
So this guy is writing a book which comes out the week after the Patriots-Bucks game. And it's called It's Better to Be Feared. And it's all about the Patriots dynasty. And there's a lot of reports coming from this book, rumors, I should be saying, not reports, but there's rumors that this book is pretty much Belichick's side of it. That's what I'm gathering. It's that because I don't have it in front of me. Damn it. Do you remember the book called The Dynasty? It was like Robert Kraft's pretty much.
Oh.
So this one is it. So Albert Breer, who's a reporter for the NFL Network, got an advanced copy, and they were like, "Oh, how's this book make Belichick look?" And he goes, "Good. It makes him look really good." And he's like, "Well, how's this book make Brady look?" And he goes, So I'm thinking that there's some stuff in this book that's going to come out specifically about Brady, and I'm curious what's in it. I'm extremely curious, and I'm also very curious why this book would come out after the Patriots-Buccaneers game, which makes me think that there's something in there, whether it be, more information about the Deflategate or, the internal struggle between Brady and Belichick, Guerrero. I think Guerrero might be a topic of conversation in the book, which makes me very curious. Anyway,
You may have to have book club. Book club in 2 weeks.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to read this because I think it's going to give out so much dirt, and I'm so ready for it, dude. Any dirt on the Patriots dynasty, like I can't get enough information about it. I find it so fascinating that, and like the whole Belichick and Brady divide back in, remember when like Brady was on stage with Jim Gray after the Eagles Super Bowl, and he was talking about like he didn't know why Butler was sitting. He was like, at one point he's like, "What type of defense are we in where Malcolm's not on the field?" And it was just like, oh, there's so much juice between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Going and did you hear Belichick's comments today?
Yeah, I heard he was on the WEI or something, and he was saying he talked about everything's going to be Brady and Belichick, but I remember them asking him a couple questions like, "Do you wish you had? Was it Tom's? Like, did Tom decide to leave, or was it Tom that would decide to leave?"
So the question, it was a really good question, and it was phrased. It said, "You've said over the years you'd never want anybody else as a quarterback besides Tom Brady. You always want him to be your quarterback." And they said, "When did that change?" And Belichick goes, "It didn't."
Yeah,
and he was like, Tom weighed his options, and he felt like Tampa was a better option for him. Even though everything we've heard over the past few years was since Brady left was, that Belichick just wasn't offering him a contract. He wanted the contract. Brady wanted the contract extension, didn't get it, and decided to move on. So I'm very curious what Brady's going to say in response to this.
We'll get Brady's book in a couple of years, and then we'll have all three facets we'll have Kraft's point of view, Belichick's point of view, Brady's point of view. Then we'll get the 30 for 30. We'll get Tom's last dance. So we'll have a whole plethora of content for
Give it to me all. I find this shit so fascinating, man. I've read, so like, actually I have a couple. The Dynasty is actually, I'm skimming through it again because it's a great book. And so, but like literally I have the Ian O'Connor Belichick book right here, which also said that pretty much Belichick could win with a top 15 quarterback. So that's a little shade at Brady. But
we're about to find out.
Dude, no shit, huh?
Yeah.
But then I have the number 12, which is the inside story of Tom Brady's fight for redemption, which is pretty much the whole Deflategate situation from Brady's perspective of it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and then I got more Patriot books. I got dude, I got so many. It's so bad. I got Brady versus Manning. This people's topic is just really, it's like my own personal
book club.
Anyway, we can segue the hell out of this.
When are we gonna? I can't wait for the Flying Squirrel documentary when we get a Julian Edelman inside
We'll get his
picture.
perspective on it. We'll get like Stephon Gilmore's perspective on this. We'll get everyone on this.
Yeah, so I'm very curious about this book, and I don't know. I'm just fascinated between Brady and Belichick. But anyway, long story short, I'm very depressed that they're facing off because I just wish they were still together.
Alex Guerrero is like Yoko of the Patriots dynasty. He just totally broke up the greatest band.
He ruined everything.
He ruined everything. He just broke it up. It was fine until Guerrero came in, and then he was like, I want to eat my Wagyu beef over here.
Avocado ice cream.
I want to eat my avocado ice cream and do band work over at Gillette. And Belichick was like, no. He ruined it. He ruined everything. You want to look at the the center of the problem. It's Alex Guerrero. Yeah, that's a great book. I may have to.
I think it comes out like October 12th or something like that. I don't know.
We're gonna have to revisit this in 2 weeks.
Very exciting.
You can write in each week on our Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. Remember to give us a follow. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. My thanks to Danny Football and Jared Haibon for joining this week. Have a great week, everyone.